It's good governance. It's transparency. It's accountability. It's checks and balances. It's the supremacy of institutions of governance, where we allow institutions to play their rightful role. That's what Mwai Kibaki did, and he was a very successful president. He allowed institutions to work, and he let everybody work. He did not micromanage the country. He didn't try to do everything by himself. You never saw Mwai Kibaki on top of a vehicle. You know, we have a president who was elected. When you are looking for leadership, there is nothing wrong with you being on top of a vehicle. But once you are elected, you settle down in Harambee House, you settle down in State House and work. You know, you can't be on. I saw him in the Luo Nation 5 days. He was on top of the vehicle abusing us. You must sit in an office and put in hard work. Sit on a desk, get briefs, digest them, and give guidance and give direction as to what will happen. We want to restore the dignity of the presidency. We want to get the Kenyan president to get back to office and work for the people of Kenya. From Harambee House, from State House. I am not going to be a president. If I am elected president of the Republic of Kenya, you will never see me on top of the vehicle. I'll either be in office or I'll be in State House working.
All right. We're about to give you a chance to give closing remarks because we're running out of time here. But there's a question here from one Eriko Kach from Kisumu. This says, the families say it's a rather insensitive question, but we'll just ask it because the people have asked. Can you respond to Ruto about the murder of girls after impregnating them? Eriko Kach from Kisumu.
I cannot respond to nonsense, pettiness, and gossip. President has sunk too low. He has become a gossiper. Instead of addressing real issues affecting this country has a debt of 14 trillion. He is not bothered. We are facing a crisis on fuel shortage. He is not addressing it. He is on top of a vehicle saying that somebody's cow has died because of a tick. What kind of pettiness is that? Hata ng'ombe ya mtu ikikufa na wewe ni president, unaongea hiyo ni maneno ya ujinga na fitina ambayo haina haja.
He's dedicating 1% of his time to respond to you.
No.
You're the one who started this
but the kind of things he's talking do not warrant my response. They are too petty and too childish. Let me talk about one thing that you never allowed me. There is a project called Koru Soin Dam.
Yes.
Uhuru Kenyatta allocated 20 billion. That was a dam that would serve the people of Kericho and the people of Kisumu. It would address the floods in Nyando so that when it rains, the water can go to that dam. That dam would have produced electricity for the Luo Nation. It would have given water for domestic and for irrigation. William Ruto removed that 20 billion. When he comes to Nyanza, the people of Nyanza must ask him, why did you remove the 20 billion from this project that Uhuru Kenyatta had given the people of Luo Nyanza?
Are you aware that there's an appeals by the two contractors contesting the award of the tender for that particular project?
Kabonyo Fisheries Training School, 3 billion shillings through the Hungary nation, allocated by Uhuru Kenyatta. It was going on, it has stalled. The people should have asked him, instead of abusing Rigathi Gachagua, tell us about these projects. When you look at the sugar factories, Miwani, Soni, Muhoroni, Chemelil, they have all been sold to people. 10.2 billion shillings owed to employees of that region. People are committing suicide. Their properties are being auctioned. I did not hear a single...
How many people have committed suicide so far with regards to this?
Quite a number. Sikusikia kiongozi hata moja, Oburu, Nani, Suluhu, hakuna mtu aliuliza Ruto, hii 10.2 billion, mutalipa hiyo wafanyikazi lini? Mambo ya wakulima, they are owed almost 500 million for these sugar factories that were sold without public participation. Those are the things I wanted us to discuss.
What did you do during your tenure as the deputy president to address the issues of the sugar subsector in the region and the economy and aquaculture?
The horses have left the stable. William Ruto has sold those factories to Asians and other people.
I'm asking when, during your tenure?
These factories, the people of Nyanza should have been given an opportunity to buy shares. They would have owned them and they would take care of them. But they were sold to Ruto's friends. We are now there in Nyatike. There is gold. Chinese have been given the rights to come and prospect and also to do the processing. Why can't people from Nyanza be given an opportunity to participate in the prospecting of gold and processing of gold?
All right.
Those are the issues I had wanted us to discuss. The issue of fish, let me tell you, my brother, instead of William Ruto coming to the Luo Nation to abuse Rigathi Gachagua the way he was abusing Raila Odinga, what you need to do for the Luo Nation, and that is what I will do when I'm president, we must discuss the resource given by God, fish, in the Lake Victoria. If you really want to empower the Luo Nation, Forget about all these other things. Is to come up with processing plants, is to come up with empowerment for people to be given fishing nets, to be given boats to go and get fish. Because this fish is very expensive. And it's unfortunate that people are wallowing in poverty when they have a resource next to them, they are in the lake.
Are you admitting that during your tenure as the deputy president, you couldn't push for the Luo agenda in terms of
There's
Luo
nothing
economy?
I could push for. The government that I was deputy president is a one-man show. William Ruto micromanages everything. He even advises his own advisors on how to advise him. He decides everything. We were just there, you know, just struggling, trying to make ends meet, and he says you there, he says you there and there, but he does everything, and that is what we want to change. We want to have a government that has institutions that are working. People who have been appointed, they can go and work.
All right.
And let me also tell...
I'd like to give you a chance for closing remarks because we've run out of time here, but I was looking at the Kurusoin dam that you talked about. There was no 20 billion that was allocated. In fact, it was 2 billion. It was allocated but removed in 2020. Because it was too little for the project, which was 19 billion, that you can't put that 20 billion could not be allocated in that financial year. But even then,
have you been told what happened?
Let's have your final comments because we ran out of time here. Just a minute.
Well, Trevor, you have been very biased in this show, which is very unprofessional. Because anyway, let me not go into that. Let me say my closing remarks. I've heard these people talk about broad-based. At the Luo Nyanza is in government because of 2 ministers. The Luo Nyanza had a vice president called Jaramogi, but they still agitated for justice and rights. They never became complacent because they had a vice president. The Luo nation has had a prime minister. Raila and the Luo people still stood for what is right and justice. The people of Nyanza cannot be bought by positions. During Moi's time, out of 18 MPs, 17 were ministers and assistant ministers. But the Luo nation still stood for what is true and right. I want to tell the Luo nation, you have 2 cabinet positions. Wadai is there for energy. More than 70% of the Luo nation has no electricity. It doesn't mean because Wadai is eating, the Luo nations are eating. We, the mountain, have 8 ministers, but we are opposed to William Ruto because he is doing the wrong things. And those 8 positions are for individual ministers and their families. So these 2 positions the Luo nation have are for those 2 families. It cannot be that the community now can become complacent. They cannot question what is wrong. They cannot question what is not going on well in the country. They cannot demand what is rightfully theirs and they pay taxes because they have 2 cabinet positions. The Luo nation has always had very senior positions, but it's a dignified community that has always stood for what is true and what is right. I'm asking the Luo nation, much as you have 2 cabinet positions, fight for your right, fight for what is just, and make sure that you position yourselves properly so that the interests of your community can be taken care of in the future.
Will you be visiting the Luo nation soon?
Yes, I will.
When is it? When?
Well, soon. I'm just working my things around. I hope Raymond Omolo will not sponsor violence against me the way he has been doing in Nairobi. He's been mobilizing people in Nairobi to attack churches.
Allegations that
no, it's true.
He
can take me to court. He organized violence in Kariobangi Church.
You have evidence for this, so you can take this to court.
Even this attack on Orengo is Omolo.
So you can take this to court?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
He is the one who has been organizing violence in Nyanza. And I want to ask Raymond Omolo, stop violence.
So when are you coming to Nyanza?
I should be coming soon.
Okay.
Will you be organize myself?
Will you be fielding candidates in DCP?
Well, I'll come.
Will DCP be fielding candidates in that area?
I want to tell the Luo nation that if ODM joins UDA, those who are independent people and minded, who are not psychophants, if you don't come to DCP, you are goose is cooked. You will never get the certificate. DCP is available to the Luo nation. All those leaders who are courageous, who are brave, who believe in the people, who want to go to parliament to fight for the Luo nation, DCP is your party. Even here in Nairobi, I have very many aspirants who have come to DCP. And I have told the Luo nation here in Nairobi to be careful. Because previously, the ODM has had 9 MPs in the city, courtesy of Wiper, courtesy of the Malembe nation, courtesy of the Kisii nation. Those nations are not with Ruto. Ruto has no votes in Nairobi. So if you go and make a partnership with Ruto, where will you get votes? You people must align yourself with the realities of Nairobi politics. The Nairobi politics, as we speak today, is in the opposition. So if they decide to join Ruto, they will not get a single position here in Nairobi. And I'm saying, like Ruaraka, if I get a good candidate from the Luo Nation who wants to run at the DCP, hey, voila.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, His Excellency. His Excellency Rigathi Gachagua, the DCP leader and also former deputy president. Mane kama we chenru marwa marubu chijopen.